Communications technology, is at its premium at the present time, not only among humankind, but also news and views and accounts of what happens in the animal kingdom is also now being widely broadcast and made known. With regard to the animals that are found in the jungles of Asia, the Wild Asia TV team is committed to bring you unbiased reports of what does take place in the jungles over here. And we are delighted to be able to take you through another very interesting journey into the forests of Asia. So do join us and stay with us. It may be that humans have an inflated opinion of themselves. But as far as the elephant goes, man is nothing. It may be that men think of themselves like they were elephants, but the way that man thinks is not the way an elephant thinks.
The majestic king elephant walks along, displaying an unparalleled personality. He is the pride of the jungle. The elephant has evolved over 55 million years, but today he is threatened with extinction because of the activities of man. The Sri Lankan elephant belongs to the category of Asian elephants. The gait of the elephant is indeed a wonderful act. He walks along, dividing his 5,000 kilogram weight systematically to 3 legs, raising 1 leg at a time. Rhythm and lilt are implicit in that walk. These animals walk about 22 to 25 kilometers a day, seeking food. For most part, elephants live in herds. But under certain circumstances, there are occasions when an elephant roams all alone. It is difficult to say why this giant elephant that Wild Asia TV team met walks along at a leisurely pace.
The different species of animals have their own way of expressing affection or love. Birds too have their own special ways of expressing their love and affection to each other. But it would appear that the beak has a very important part to play in this expression. Watch.
Our Wild Asia TV team met a pair of black bulbul lovers who teach humankind how disciplined courtship should be. On a wet day, since it was difficult to flap their wings, this pair of black bulbuls perched on a branch, drying their wings. These two express their love by picking insects off each other's wings. In English, this bird is described as black bulbul, though it is known in Sinhala as Kalukondea. Its scientific name is Hepsipetes leucocephalus. They mostly live in pairs.
As it is in human families, in the families of elephants also, trouble usually comes because of a stubborn, rebellious youngster. And so it is that in the elephant family, when a young male elephant reaches the age of 12 or 15, he is usually sent away from the rest of the herd and allowed to do his own thing. Well, this is one of those naughty boys who have decided to do his own thing.
In human society, the most mischievous years are from 15 to 20. But in the families of elephants, when male calves are 12 to 15, they leave the herd. They live either alone or in small groups. These are like bachelor groups. These groups are extremely restive. They are stubborn and headstrong. Our Wild Asia TV team says that they are responsible, for the most part, for many violent acts. The Wild Asia TV team intends to investigate their activities further and to report them to you. This mischievous elephant took a small strand of grass off his leg. He took off this strand of grass as if to show off to us. Though the elephant's eyesight is weak, it can take off even a small strand of grass because it is highly sensitive.
Word was received by way of a secret SMS that in the jungle and by the water's side there was to be a huge banquet. And so the Wild Asia team quickly sallied forth to the side of the waters, and what do you think they saw? An enormous feast, but it was set out for the birds.
Initially, our camera met a small group of cormorants and a pair of pelicans. The kingfisher is on a lonely hunt. The kingfisher's strategy is to select its prey quite carefully and to dive into the water to capture the prey. The waterbird's method is different. The waterbird's strategy is to dive into the water and capture the prey, pursuing it underwater. But the method of the pelican is entirely different. It takes in water along with the fish and allows the water to drain from the two sides of its beak. Then it swallows the fish. In addition to this, the seagull and the hooded gull have come for this dinner uninvited. This is confirmed by the Wild Asia TV team in their official report.
Well, we've been round quite a bit, but we saw something we ought to share with you. You know, it has been said that an itch is best relieved with a scratch. And there are plenty of scratches amongst human beings. And so it is even in the animal kingdom. But with this scratch, is the itch relieved, or is it just a question of the itch continuing? Whatever it is, just observe very closely how many times this one needs to relieve his itch.
Whatever it may be, scratching has become a fashion in our society. But our friends in the wild are not like us. They don't get anyone else's assistance for this. They do it themselves in whatever way they can. They have to scratch when there are some parasites on their skin or when they have a bacterial infection. On such occasions, elephants scratch themselves with their trunk. If there are places that the trunk cannot reach, they rub their back against a tree. that kind of tree could be a signal to other elephants. This is a good example for self-help.
It has been observed that a bird cannot live singly, and so every sound or call that the bird makes is supposed to be an invitation for yet some others. In the case of this particular, it may be that this is an invitation extended to his girlfriend. But sadly, up until now, no suitable response has been forthcoming.
This one belongs to the Prenia socialis species. They make their cry both to indicate their presence to the other members of the flock and also to mark the boundaries of their domain. This species is found in most parts of Sri Lanka, but they live mostly in the low country dry zone.
When referring to the fowl, how many there are. We have the jungle fowl, we have the guinea fowl, the crow pheasant, the village fowl. All these different fowls have different behaviors. And the jungle fowl has some exceptional behavior. See what happens when the jungle fowl accompanies two of his lady friends or girlfriends. Yeah, watch what happens.
The bird that has acquired a special position is the jungle fowl, which is Sri Lanka's national bird. This is the largest endemic bird of Sri Lanka. The jungle fowl, widespread in Sri Lanka, forages on the forest floor. It feeds on insects and fallen fruit. At the time when the sun hides itself behind the forest, a wildfowl set out on a foraging exploration with his two mates. A hawk focused its sharp eye on this trio. The hawk tried to capture a plump young hen, but it missed its target.
Quite suddenly, the Wild Asia TV team was presented with an invitation. By whom? By the National Elephant Association. And this was to attend the Baby Elephant Games. Well, we are now on our way to film the proceedings. Come with us, enjoy.
When we arrived there, all the jumbos in the region had assembled for the elephant rally. The chief guest, a giant elephant, was received by an elephant calf. The elephants roamed about freely in the ceremony ground. This added a lively touch to the august assembly. Meanwhile, there were contests and competitions going on. In this free jungle, plain elephant children frolicked and gambled around. This was a unique experience for Wild Asia TV team. you come to think of it, there is hardly any difference between human children and elephant children. There is a well-known saying, both elephants and children love to frolic and gambol. This way, Wild Asia TV team recorded live a natural festival of elephants roaming in the jungle. They provide a global audience the opportunity to view this rare event as it took place. What is outstanding about this elephant festival is that it reflects the intimate soul links that exist among elephants and their cordiality toward each other.
Now, the dream of all is to be able to own one's own home. And so it is amongst those denizens of the forest, and in the case of the weaver bird, they would love to have the fulfillment of that dream. But in the case of the weaver bird, he does not pass on the responsibility of building his house to a building contractor. Rather, from the first moment until the house is completed, the weaver bird does his own building. Watch this.
The male carpenter bird, with its bright yellow head, is ready to build a new house, using his energy to the fullest. Once he has built the house, it is the wife who has to give approval. The nest of the carpenter bird is considered one of the most complex nests in the animal and bird kingdom. The nest of the carpenter bird, constructed with reeds and fibers, is strong and intricate. This displays the architectural efficiency of the carpenter bird. The female carpenter bird perches on the branch of a tree nearby while the nest is being built. She circled around several times and entered the nest. It looks as if the nest has won her favor. She approves of the nest. The nest is constructed by weaving long reeds and fibers together intricately. The nest is built with the entrance at the bottom to keep out the rain and also for security.
In the forest, there are those that travel up in the trees and others that walk along the ground. On occasion, those that are up there on the trees may need to walk down below. There is a saying that a monkey, even at 60, will never come down off the tree. But on this occasion, we will be able to observe that certainly they are walking down below.
Our Wild Asia TV team was surprised to see someone who usually jumps through the air walking along on the ground. The leader walked ahead. The others walked along, following the leader. They ran along and climbed a decayed tree. Once on the tree, they started looking at something. It was a peacock dancing. Seeing this, Mr. Monkey also tried to dance. But how can you compare a monkey dance with the dance of a peacock? But it is only in Sri Lanka that you can see this kind of monkey.
You must have heard about an almighty row. We find that even amongst humans. But when elephants get into an almighty temper, it could very well be that there is a certain feeling of unease on account of the presence of the media. Maybe they're trying to hide something. Well, that probably is the reason for this fury.
The elephant is an animal that can run fast. If needed, it can run at the speed of about 50 to 60 kilometers per hour. But as the elephant's body is massive, it cannot run far at one stretch.
The Wild Asia TV team, in their role as the official media representatives of the denizens of the forests and jungles of Asia, have been privileged to bring you images and views of the forest and those that live in it in a way that you perhaps would not usually be able to see or even enjoy. And through the process of our travels into the jungle, if you've been entertained and have been privy to all sorts of marvelous and wonderful things in the jungle, and you would feel that you have benefited, well, what further certificate do we need other than the guarantee that you will be joining us again when we next present another program by courtesy of Wild Asia TV. Bye-bye.